Watch your filthy mouth, Grant. Hello and welcome to the Futro Hidden Movie Gems podcast. I'm your host, Ty Spiker Christensen. Put the vest on. It's like a work uniform. Every job has a work uniform. That is a leash. That's not a fetching work uniform. Okay, and we've got Jordan Christensen on the
Uh,
podcast.
Yeah, I loved your letterbox review. Just like, oh, just it's just I just need you to watch my sister for a little bit. And then he shows up and he's like,
Now you
put
need to
this
put this on.
on.
Put this on. Like, what? I don't think
what
so.
kind of
I
kinky stuff is this guy into?
oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
no,
I would have been
no,
like,
thank
no,
you.
I'm gone. Goodbye.
Like, row me back. Row your boat back to freaking mainland.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in
I know
staying.
it's just
He
like
even
one
gave
thing
him an
after
out. He was like, "So what are we gonna do?" And then it cuts, and then he's putting it on him. You're like, "Bro, are you letting him do this?"
Well, oh, he does such a good job at emotionally scarring him because he brings him to his sister and he's like, look, or his niece, and he's like, look how distraught she is. It's like a type of schizophrenia. She's just sitting in the corner with her eyes
yeah,
covered.
if she's doing that, I'd be like, I know I am
Yeah.
not watching this woman.
Yeah, I'd be like, no, no, thanks.
And
Yeah,
and
this
if you
is a
can't
little heavy.
swim and you got to be on an island, I'd be like, I mean,
For
it's just
real,
like,
dude.
how many more things do you need
And the
before
guy's
you got to
taking the boat away. Like, what? Go with him. Take the boat back, so you
Whoa,
have a
whoa,
way to
whoa, whoa.
get
I haven't
off
even
the
introduced
island.
you, so let's stop talking. Anyway, we've also got
This guy's stupid.
Grant Mickle on the podcast.
You stole my quote, but yeah,
I stole
it's a
your quote.
leash.
I believe That's not a
It's not a
uniform.
uniform.
Hmm. Oh, there's another good one too, where it was oh dang it. I
Oh, I just
forget
realized when he saw the dog on a leash, he was literally like in the same position. I'm such an idiot. I didn't even
Oh, I
like,
didn't think of that.
yeah,
brilliant
like I,
observation. Yeah.
I know
He's
how you
like, you and
feel.
me both. Yeah, you and me
Yeah,
both.
I didn't even think about that. For some reason, I was like, what is like, who's taking
Like,
care
what's
of
the
that
point
dog?
of
I
this
guess.
What's the
scene with
point
the
of the
dog?
dog? Yeah. Jordan's like
That's
fast forwarding.
interesting.
It's not very scary. Let's get into the freaking rabbit.
No,
There's a
it
lot of
is
weird use of
terrifying. Get out of here. No, so many reasons this movie is terrifying. I mean, are we getting into it? That painting.
painting was scary. I don't know. I think the rabbit's scarier personally. The rabbit
Dude, those
gets me.
No,
eyes on that rabbit,
Freaking eyes
man.
like
Those are
human
human
eyeballs
eyes
inside
shoved
no.
inside.
onto a rabbit.
The woman is definitely the scariest. Like, I'm sorry.
Well,
Like,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
there's some good
you
uses
but
of
put
it.
a
You're right.
you she put a bag on her head and then the whole
eye hole.
eye. No.
Oh man.
No, 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 no,
And then
no.
he's like, "All right, I just gotta keep cutting faster, I guess."
Yeah, after an eyes
He's just
poking
like,
through and then most of
"That's
the
weird."
face. Yeah, still
Oh,
with the gun.
I would be screaming. That
Yeah,
guy
good
nuggets of
stuff.
steel.
Oh
Good
man.
stuff. So yeah, we need to talk about this movie, guys. This movie we're talking about Caveat. This is
Oh,
another Irish film,
and I'm curious, do you like
and
Oddity or Caveat better
Oh,
now that you've seen it?
oddity, way
uh,
better.
so it's funny you say that. I like them different for both. I'm gonna rewatch both of them. I've just seen Caveat more recently, but I'm gonna go watch Caveat, Oddity and Caveat in the same evening with my brother-in-law, and we'll see what we think. Because
Double feature.
yeah, I'm wondering which one, if you could, which one would you watch first? I feel like I want to show him Oddity first and then show him Caveat because I feel like
I'd do it the other way around and
would
with the
you
better
start with
one
Caveat,
personally.
the better one?
Because
I'm curious why you
personally,
think it's better.
like, well, I guess are we getting into it?
Wait, which one
Yeah,
do you like better, Grant? You like
Grant
Caveat?
likes.
No,
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 he
no, no.
thinks
I like
Oddity is
Oddity.
better.
What
Oh,
I think Oddity is more clever and treats the audience like they're more intelligent. Like this one feels the story's more shallow. It's enjoyable and entertaining, but it's like it's more of the camera work than like the actual story, I feel like, for me personally.
I
So
feel
I
like this
love
one,
like the
yeah.
twists of like the you develop the characters a lot in Oddity. Like you like reveal things about the husband and like I just feel like the characters are much more complex. Like this one, the niece, she's portrayed as like the crazy one. And then, well, she's kind of crazy because she like
She
shoots him
is.
out of the
She just sits
crossbow.
here with a bloody nose and yeah,
Yeah, like none of that is explained.
she shoots
There's
two
no real
men with
depth to her
crossbows.
character. She's kind of just like weird, you know? And then like there is like revealed about like, the guy having a past that through some trauma has forgotten. Like that was a kind of a cool twist, but I just feel like it wasn't as good in my opinion as Odyssey.
I need you to walk me through what happened in this movie. So this movie also was written and directed by Damian McCarthy, the most Irish sounding person of all time. And his movies, oh my gosh. Like I want to keep
I
seeing this
know.
director. I put him right up there with like Robert Eggers as far as like very fun visual storytelling mixed with like taking tropes but like elevating them. Making them even just a hair better. Like you subvert your expectations. Again, I just feel that way most foreign films do it in a way that I'm like, oh, great writing. Like I enjoy it. Like it's the clever character twist, but it's not like an M. Night Shyamalan twist where it's like it's only enhancing your story, but also giving you bits and pieces and you're piecing it together. It's I couldn't predict the ending. I remember being like, what is going on? She's sitting there, she's like, my uncle told me that you were here. Here's your jacket. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, it's
Yeah.
like, what is going on right now? And he's like, my brother used to have a jacket like that. It's like, it's the same. You were here a few weeks ago, trying to kill my It's like, what are you talking about? I've never been here before. I have no idea what's going on. It's like, yeah, he said you wouldn't remember. And you're like, what is happening? Oh my gosh. So good.
Yeah. So see, I feel like Oddity did a better job of like giving you the mystery at the very beginning of Oddity. Like, who do you trust, right? Like, the crazy guy who's telling you someone's inside your house, or do you let like? I feel like that landed better for me than
It's
the
funny
kind
that
of
you say that
twist
because
for this
the
one.
moment he held up the vest and he's like, I need you to put this on, that's the moment for me where I was like, oh my gosh, I love this movie so much. I know that sounds weird, but I was like, this is so creepy because I was like, of course he's gonna put the vest on and it's gonna play a big part in this movie. Holy
Yeah.
freak. And they did all the things I wanted to. The only thing that was missing, I kind of wanted one scene where he gets yanked back off
Yanked
of his
Yes,
back.
seat
yanked,
and
but yeah,
Yeah.
and
pulled.
dragged away or
I thought
something.
that was gonna
Yeah.
They
happen.
never
There
had that.
was
I was
there
bummed.
was a subtle one though where he's sitting in the stairwell with the dog and then the chain like raises up
Yeah,
and
I
someone
love the
clearly
chain
is
raises up. That was cool.
like someone's pulling up on it and it's like, oh my gosh, like so it's more subtle. But again, and it's not like, at that moment, that's when all crap hits the fan, right? Because if he gets yanked and dragged around the house or whatever with it, I thought he was gonna get dragged down the stairs, or something like that. But
Yeah, me too.
but um or even like the uncle. But again, I did like how he ends up getting out of the vest and puts her in it. Anyway, it's just let's get into what was it like watching this movie for the first time and then rewatching it for the podcast. So I've seen this 1.5 times because I went back and rewatched some things because I was wondering about the mystery because I think this movie is definitely more ambiguous than Oddity. Um, there's just like motivations I didn't understand. Like I was like, why is the uncle like why is he doing
Yeah.
this? Like what's going on? Why does he want to kill his brother? Why did he kill who exactly is responsible for the mom's death? Like I had so many questions, right? And I don't even think that on rewatch I
Is the
learned
mom
anything.
dead?
Yeah, is someone even dead? I mean, she's moving a lot for a dead person, dude. And
Yeah.
the freaking
She's really
when
good
he's
at holding her
crawling through
breath.
the crawl space and she's at the end of the crawl space. Holy,
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
she's like,
I can't.
she like ducks down. So scary, dude. It had it. Oh my gosh, there's so many things I want to talk about. I just want to mention it real quick. I love when a character does something that you've been told or you explain why it happens. Like Sinister had a great moment where the boy comes shooting out of the box and he's like
Oh,
screaming.
backwards.
It's
Yeah.
so weird looking, and then you get an explanation for it after. There's one of my favorite jump scares, and he just comes back into the house and you see her just sitting at the table with a
Yeah.
bloody nose and the crossbows there and she's like it almost feels like a weeping angel, that
Yeah.
the statue that keeps moving at you when you're not
Mm.
looking and then when you look at it it freezes. Kind of had that feel to it. Freaking love that, dude. It's so scary. Anyway, just like walks back into the house and there's she is there in her hands. Like it's just so unnerving looking because it's like at first you totally feel sorry but you're also like, oh, what's going on here? But then like again, she's like progressing closer, or she's done something else. He goes back into the room, and the freaking phone line's cut. Oh, there's just so many things about this movie. Oh,
No, or when he's
it's
got
hard
to
to say
like
which I like
reach
better.
through the hole, you're like, oh, his
Oh
hand's gonna get cut.
yeah,
You know something's gonna happen.
freaking oh.
Yeah.
So anyway, watching this, yeah. So I rewatched Caveat again, trying to decipher the mystery, and I feel like a lot of this movie was ambiguous, but honestly, I kind of enjoy it more. It's like I remember the scares. There's more than 4 or 5 scenes that genuinely frightened me. Like I was
Mm.
just unnerved and filled with dread, just like Oddity. They do a really good job at building dread. And I'm like, Damien, I think to me, those are more effective than most of the jump scare horror movies we get today. And that's two movies that absolutely filled me with dread. So nice work, Damien. And I don't know who dropped you as a kid or left you abandoned at a playground or something that built all this childhood trauma, but nice work putting it to good use and scaring the heck out of me as an adult man. That's pretty impressive. So nice work, dude. Anyway, Jordan, what about you? Watching this movie for the first time, rewatching it for the podcast?
Yeah, so I really loved Oddity, and so I was like, well, I definitely want to check out what else he's done. So I looked at his early work, and I'm really glad I checked this one out because, yeah, loved it. It does slog a little bit in the middle, in my opinion, the flashback stuff. Like I'm just like, I don't know. I love, love, love the whole
Like
house and
explaining the story of
yeah, like
like
them, yeah, trying to explain like his flashback of like how he lost his memory and what happened. Like, I don't know. I didn't feel like I needed to see it. I wanted to spend more time with the chain and the freaky chick in the house. Love two freaky chicks in the house because they're all
yeah.
bananas. But the, I just more of that. That was great because the flashback, I was just like, you're explaining stuff. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, you're like, I don't need motivations. Keep it ambiguous, you know?
Well,
No.
or yeah, or just to like play off like what he can remember. I don't know. I don't know what to
So
fix because
in the defense of the movie, I think it was him realizing it. So you're only seeing the flashback because he's now just learned and he finally
mm,
can recall it. I agree that it
Yeah, because it's
does
when he's
it's
asleep that
pacing.
he's like
Yeah, he's laying down
his
and
brain is
he's starting to
remembering
think
things that
about
he's
yeah.
forgotten.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's thinking about it and he starts piecing it together because he keeps looking at the photo and he's like he's trying to piece together. He's like, I don't know why your uncle and I are even friends. And it's like, yeah, you're hardly friends. And it's so great because it's just like oddity. Like I swear I don't know if Damien like needs somebody killed. He needs to hire a hitman, or has hired a hitman. They say
or
write what you
somebody
know.
hurt him very bad, and
Yeah,
he's like,
somebody
"This
hurt
is my
him really bad. And he's
revenge."
like, yeah, he's like, I need to hire a hitman to kill someone because it's like all of his movies. But they're such great stories. Like you bring in someone that's tenuously attached to it, right? A
Well,
coworker or a friend or whatever, and then it's like,
what
oh,
what
like
I love is the like kind of quote unquote supernatural aspect of it, like the dead woman and the weird sister covering her eyes, kind of is almost like background noise to what the like you said the hitman situation, and so I think it kind of like is almost elevated, kind of like Oddity, where it's like the whole husband situation, and then there's a ghost in the house and stuff. So you're like, I don't know, it's just I don't know, I love
it's
it.
like it's better than a serial killer movie. Like, how about we throw a little wooden puppet in there,
Yeah.
or in this case, right? Yeah, it's like it's more terrifying than like being chained to the fetching basement and a leather vest. A terrifying rabbit that like pounds its drum, letting you know that something's getting closer, danger's coming. I don't
Well,
know what it was. It
a
was
movie that
always
I absolutely love
so
that
scary.
reminds me of this is I think it's called 100 Ghosts, and there's a mafia chasing this little kid, and they're trying to kill him, and they chase him into this forest, and then there's like ghosts in the forest, and it's just like I don't know, it just
How
kind of
many
like
ghosts were there?
but I love that where there's already something else going on, and then this other thing is kind of like a
It's
side
like
thing.
genre bending.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
fun.
it. It's
Oh yeah,
it's
it's cool
creative.
to
It's
see. Yeah, it's cool to see two cohesive parts like creating a better one, right? Like I said, when he
mm,
introduced the vest and then it's like a murder mystery here. It's almost reminded me of Following, Christopher Nolan's first film for some reason. Just like it's low budget, but it's like a really well done concept and story that I think elevates it to you're like, oh yeah, get this guy some work. This is well done. Very minimal location, very minimal budget, few actors, but
or
it
the
tells a
best
really good story.
examples for that
Be fun.
coherence. That movie is tiny
Micro
budget,
budget, for sure.
insane.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Like
great. And
almost too
yeah,
much. Oh, my brain.
right, right. But Grant, how about you, man? What was it like watching it for the first time, rewatching it for the podcast?
Well, I started watching it last night and then I got too scared. So I finished it this morning.
Let's go, Grant. No, okay, what
Yes.
what part though? Was it the freaking whispering? That got me. On my noise canceling headphones,
That
it
painting, yeah,
was
was pretty
yeah, it was
creepy.
doing the voices like behind me and behind my headboard. I was like, dude, gotta
Oh.
turn it off, dude. It was so unnerving. I like you, Grant, got terrified. I literally did. I
Yeah.
was like, that
Okay,
is
I woke up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom and I couldn't even get out of my bed. I was so scared to see her. I was so afraid I'd like turn on my light, and then her eyes
Oh
would be
my
under my bed,
God.
and then she would hide underneath, you know? No, 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 no.
No, 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 no.
Oh
That her
man,
face
funny.
was like seared into my
Ah,
brain.
This is
It's just the
effective.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Well,
really
it was funny
effective.
because Elise was like, well, I was like, I need to watch this horror movie for the podcast, and Elise was like, all right, you can watch it after I go to bed, and I was like, sweet, when I'm alone in the dark. So I finished it for my lunch break today. So
There you go. There you
it's
go.
good though. It was a good movie.
Yeah. Well, let's hear it. Two of your favorite
I have a
things,
lot of
Jordan.
nitpicks, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. We'll get to those. Jordan, what are your two favorite things?
Yeah, this guy is excellent at, I think you mentioned genre bending, just kind of mixing two different stories. Uh, I love so much. I guess that's my one. The second was just there's lots of segments in his film that are so good. Like, I mean, I can't just pick one scene, but I love basically like all his different ideas are very used in very fun, creative ways. Like, the bunny. I don't want to take all your guys's, but I just think that's such a fun idea that like the bunny basically is like it can not discover, what is it called? It's almost like,
Manifest.
yeah, it like tells you when like when he's looking, it's got his back turned to the door and the little thing's like playing its
Like,
drums.
hey,
Trying to
Like,
get
look
your
behind you, look
behind
attention.
behind
you.
you. But then he turns and nothing happened except the door open behind you. I have so many questions about the bunny, dude. I need to know where it is, like what
Yeah,
it
Well,
me
I,
is.
too.
I
I
wonder if
have a
this,
sneaking suspicion what it is. I think it might be the mom trying to communicate to the family like who her real killer was,
yeah,
trying to get
Hmm.
discovered because it was the bunny eventually like bringing him closer because we got to talk about this, the whole spoiler and everything. So I'll talk about it after. But you're right though. The bunny is terrifying, and it's like, oh, it's like a creepy bunny movie, but you're like, it's just a very small part of it, and it's a mystery.
yes.
Like the freaking thing's there in the house, and like anyway, it's weird.
And that alone is
Uses
such a
it.
fun creative idea. The fact that he has so many of those, like getting into the, like we've already
Yeah,
mentioned, the
like who
vest.
freaking made this thing? This bunny is like fetching terrifying. It's got like it's raggedy, it's
Uh,
creepy looking. The eyes are so piercing. It's got two little red drumsticks or whatever, and it's just playing away. And it's just like this hollow clackety sound. It just goes faster and faster. Of course, with the sound mixing, they made it sound like it was getting higher pitched, but it was just the sound surrounding it that it was getting higher pitched, and it just kept banging away on its drum. You're like, "Ah, stop it. So scary, dude. Anyway,
Yes.
it's good stuff. And what was your second favorite, Darren?
Oh no, I've said more
Okay,
than two, and I can go on, but I'll let
sure,
you guys
sure.
go before I take
Grant,
them
how about
all.
you? What are your two favorite things?
I think the first thing I noticed was like the theme of the claustrophobia of the father, or I guess the brother of the uncle dying to like claustrophobia or whatever. Like the camera work makes you so claustrophobic. Like they do so many like tight, close shots. It makes you so uncomfortable. Like two I can think of is like the hole down in the basement. Like it just gets you so close and you're like, please step away from that hole. I don't want
Trying to
to be
shine
this
the light
close.
in there. Yeah,
Yeah. And then like
great.
every time that he looks at a photo, it like the entire photo fills the screen and it's just like in your face. Like when he's looking at his brother, and I'm like what significance is this? But like just these really, really close shots.
Well, and you
I
feel
definitely
like that
noticed.
painting is looking at him because it like
Yeah.
zooms in and then
I'm
he
pretty sure it
turns it
changes.
around.
Yeah,
I'm
like
pretty
yeah,
sure it
and that was
changes
another
its
one. I was zoomed in
expression
on
too. It's like
the
angry
painting's
and then
eyes and stuff, and
Yeah, and
ugh,
he like flips it around and then he looks back over and it's flipped
falls
the other way.
over.
And you're like,
Yeah,
oh no,
I
looking at him
know,
no.
again, falls over.
freaky as crap.
But then he's dreaming. Yeah, it does a few of those too, where it does this really weird thing where it does a jump scare shortly after a jump scare, where it thinks back. Like if you're watching, there's a scene where he goes down to the basement, finds the father there, and runs out of there. He's terrified. And then he's sitting there in the bathroom, he's washing his face, and then it like jump cuts back to the guy in the basement
Oh
just for a
yeah,
brief
that's right.
moment.
When
I'm
he's
like,
thinking about
jeez,
it,
yeah.
yeah,
I was like, thanks for doing that. Like I thought I was out of harm's way, and he's thinking about it and just
yeah.
quickly flashes back to him. I just thought that
I
was
forgot
funny.
about that.
This quick little jump scare. It's like a post jump scare jump scare.
Yeah, we missed like a shot in the darkness with the chain slowly being pulled down, something like that. Just like him trying to like, you know,
He's at the top
stop
of the stairs.
himself. Yeah, like
So see, and I actually thought so. If I had redone this movie, there might have been one additional jump scare I would have done. I liked. Okay, so let's everyone share their two things. I would say, yeah, to me, you mentioned genre bending. I like when a movie does I think it does well enough to establish everything that you need. Because even if I'm willing to concede that I remember watching this movie being like, I don't get why the uncle killed his brother, but I'm also like, who killed the mother? I'm assuming because they said she was crazy, and I'm like, maybe the husband did it, and then because of what he did, he felt guilty. And so, but then it's like, but then the uncle was involved in it somehow. He's like, they did it. He convinced her to do it. They locked her
He
down
might,
here
yeah,
because
he
she
might
was
have felt
crazy.
guilty,
And
was
then he
gonna
felt
go
guilty.
confess.
But then it was so great. I love the reveal later when he comes back. He goes, who locked the door? And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, the door was already locked when I got to the house. And he's like, why would I tell you to go there? And I'm like, because you're gonna frame him for murder, obviously. Like I was like, you need a fall guy. I'm the fall guy. You sent me to the island so I could take fall for the death. Then he freaking writes the note like, I think someone's gonna harm you, dude. He like has second, he gets cold feet, and then he realizes he's down there, goes downstairs. He's bleeding from the head. He's in that tiny crawl space in the basement. That's when you see the dead the first time. He runs upstairs. He's still alive down there, dude. Anyway, the crossbow's
uh,
just laying there on the floor.
I'm sorry, you could not pay me enough to crawl towards if I saw a person peek their head up and then dive
I
down.
know, right?
Again, he
I'd
must
be like,
imagine it. He knows
I'll
that
I'll
she's
face the
dead.
crossbow chick.
I know, I took the
Speaking,
crossbow over the dead
Yeah.
lady. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
so that was the last thing I was gonna say. I love crossbows. Not since Blue Ruin have I seen a crossbow so effectively used.
Mm.
I like crossbows. One thing that did bother me though, this is probably your nitpick, Grant, was the fact when he gets nicked in the ear, like freaking Matthew Crook style, right? Shooting Donald Trump in the ear. The ear, it goes right through his ear, pierces him, and he survives the first crossbow. He's standing there in the bathroom, and then she just like looks up and slowly reloads the crossbow. It's like freaking charge that wench, dude. Knock
Yeah,
her over,
that's true.
overpower her. He just stands there and he's like, oh, closes the bathroom door. I'm like,
Yeah.
bro,
Yeah, close
bro.
yourself off. Give her time to reload
I
so you can
know. But
be
anyway,
stuck in there.
to be fair, again, maybe it's the indie film project speaking here where it's like, are we gonna have a struggle session or like let's have him like in shock, obviously, because I mean he just opened the door and then she's standing there. It nicks him. And he almost felt, I think, because he had just realized who he was and what he was set out to do was to kill someone, maybe at that point he kind of felt like he deserved to die in a way because he almost looks resolved because he like almost sighs when he opens the bathroom door. He sees her there and he like accepts his fate, and then it shoots him in the side of the head and he
He's
survives. And
like,
he's like,
oh, I'm still
oh,
alive.
man. Yeah, he's like, holy crap! Like, it's like slams the door. So I'm willing to give it a pass there, but it's minor pass. But yeah, it was just that moment he like kind of pieced everything together, and then he yeah, she's crawling in the room using tools to like bring the crossbow to him. Like, hide the crossbow. I don't know. That was the other nitpick. It's like, hide that fetching crossbow. That's your only weapon. Sure, you put the girl in the chain, but did he go back to her bedroom, right? Is that where he slept? I don't even remember where he was sleeping at
See,
the end of
and
it.
that's one of my nitpicks is like
You could
you
strangle him in
kind
the
of don't
night.
know where you are in the house. There's not a lot of like hard anchor points to like, okay, this is her room.
Just a
This is
rickety
the
old house,
hallway.
man. Who the freak lives there, man? It's just a creepy old Irish house in the middle of this island. No
No,
repairs. The
bro.
house is dilapidated. All the doors creak. There's creepy
Yeah, I
little
just
walls. There's creepy windows above doors. Like it's all weird, dude. It's just a
well,
weird.
I want to give a shout out, yeah, to the creepy house, just like in Oddity in this one, and also the production
Yeah,
of whoever's designing that creepy bunny and that creepy statue from Oddity.
yeah,
Like,
dude. I know he probably
Yeah.
has somebody's like, "Dude, I want to make something freaking twisted," and it's like, "What do you want? I just want like a toy rabbit." You know, it's just like the monkey with the symbols. This is like just us.
yeah, yes, it does remind me
The
and look like
demonic,
that.
yeah,
Mhm.
rabbit. Where did the rabbit come from? What was it doing? Like I said, it was like in a little case. He like opens it up and then brings it out. It doesn't do anything until he finally sits in the chair and he's like just relaxing, and then it like goes off and he's like, "What?" And then starts like trying to communicate
Well,
to
he's
him,
like,
obviously.
hello?
Yeah,
He's like,
hello.
"Duh-duh."
Ta-ta. Yeah, you're
Ooh.
like, oh my gosh, dude. That gave me goosebumps too. Like it's
Yeah.
clearly communicating with him. And
Mhm.
then when it's
Yeah,
revealed, he goes,
maybe they didn't establish like the rules more clearly. Like it
"What are the
like
rules?"
yeah, like what does the bunny exactly tell you? Like I just it would have been fun because then if you establish it kind of early on, then you know what's gonna happen because you're kind of just guessing like, oh, the bunny
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah.
I guess
Yeah,
the
the
bunny
only
is
thing
telling me
yeah,
the
the only thing I
ghost is
could
here.
figure was like I was assuming it was the wife trying
Well,
to
because
get
they
someone
I
to
feel like they give
realize
you a
what had
little
happened.
bit of an answer in the beginning, starting out with the girl using
Yeah.
the bunny to like find. Well, and I guess in a way it was like leading her to find her mom where she was hidden.
Yeah, but then it just plays like randomly.
Well, I know. I agree with that. Like I think it is they kind of they give you a little bit in the beginning, but then they kind of stray from it, and so you're like, okay, so
Because
what
it's kind of
is
like
it?
the alien thing where it's a beep beep and it tells you how close the aliens are, like, and you know that, and it's like, oh, they're closing in, but and
Mhm.
that's like, oh shoot, they're getting closer. So if
Yeah.
you like tell us that, or I don't know, or show us so that we know, oh, this is what it does. But
And
it kind
maybe
of just,
Well,
maybe
because
the mom
it,
was
I
just doing
guess,
it because she knew she could get her revenge. But like again, it's like the
oh,
mom's just
she
gonna
might,
reanimate at the end too.
yeah, she might be
It's hard to
leading them to basically play out how she wants things to go. I don't know.
right, right. Because in the end it was like it's what got the uncle back home. The uncle comes back down, he's like, where's the guy? Well, I shot him up in the bedroom. I'm reloading. So he's trapped in the bedroom. She doesn't know that he's crawling around through the walls. And then that's the moment where he's like, yeah, he's cutting it. And then the guy's like, oh, he's cutting out. He's coming out of the basement. And then it's like, hey, I'm free or whatever. He's not in the house. And
yeah,
it's like,
that was a good use of the intercom throughout the house.
yeah.
I liked
Mm.
using that as the
It's
big
like
reveal at
he's
the
not
end.
here.
Yeah.
He must have escaped out of the house. He went out of the vent. He's out free. And it's like, well, who's cutting through the wall here? And then you just see the
Well, I love
mom's
how it
head
took
like,
him so long to get down there with given an arrow in his leg, and then
dude,
like,
love the mom
then
just
he's able
appearing
to
like
escape within like 30 seconds.
the mom just appearing around the corner, dude. Oh, it's great. It's so freaking good.
But I want to clarify really quick. I don't think they should sit there and just explain it to us either, because like obviously the good directors, maybe they did give us all the signs. Maybe there's a YouTube video out there where somebody's like, "Oh no, this is exactly what it
Yeah, boy, you
means."
stupid. You didn't get
Yeah,
it. Here's the
I
explanation.
know.
Here's what
And
it
if
means.
that's the case and the director's treating us like an intelligent viewer, then props to him. But I just felt
Sure.
like I was a bit confused. But
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of like Housebound a little bit too.
yeah,
Just
I
like
was actually
inside the
thinking of
walls.
that one.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like a fun movie where I'm like, I never want to forget this. Like, definitely put it's such a fun watch. Not enough people have seen it. It came out in 2020. I can't help but think that maybe this was like a pandemic movie. And again, it's so great. It's such a small budget. I think horror is like one of my favorite indie kind of horror movies that are just really well done. You have a storyteller that's like very good. It's like a campfire story, just like we saw with Oddity, the opener, like Grant mentioned. This crazy guy from the insane asylum escaped and is warning you that someone else is in the house. Do you believe him? Of course not. But then you're like, okay, don't believe the guy that's crazy or the guy that's snuck into your house. They're both bad, you know. But again, you don't know that they're there because you're like, is this guy just crazy? He's pulling my leg. He just wants me to open the door so he can kill me. It's so freaking good.
Wait, did
And
you
this
say,
one,
Ty,
it's
which one you liked better? Sorry, I missed
see,
that.
that's the thing. Like
Oh,
I do feel like I like parts of Oddity better, and I do like parts of
oh, that's right.
Caveat
You
better.
said
It's
that.
so
That's
hard
right.
to
I
decide
l-
because
I
like
like Oddity better, but there's
yeah,
parts in this one that I'm like major props, like
yeah,
great horror. So
sure,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, like I said, I can't get over the whole vest thing. It's just always makes me laugh. Like it's just like, here, put this on. You're like, what? No, I'm out of here, dude. Peace out. And then he's just like, look at my sad, pathetic niece. Here she is. She's comatose, and he like claps in front of her face. No, she can't
Yeah.
hear anything, man. That's great too. That's another great moment where he's like talking on the phone. I really liked the scene where he's talking on the phone with the guy and he's like, "Where's my niece?" And he's like, "Well, she's here." He's like, "Dude, I found the mom. She's in the basement and everything." He's like, "Oh, okay. Well, you sit tight." He's like, "Have you called him?" He's like, "I don't know where I am. Like, you need to send police." And he goes, "Yeah, I'll take care of you." And you're like, "Oh, fudge."
I
And
know when
then
he said that,
it's
I'm like,
such a
oh no,
great
he's
scene. It's
gone.
such a great scene when he tells her, he goes, "Hey,
Mhm.
I found your mom. She's tied up in the basement. You need to sit tight or whatever." And she's like, "He did it. He and my dad killed my mother." And he goes, "And now you told him that you found it. What do you think he's gonna do to you?" And there's this terrifying scene where he's like, "No, like you need to call him." And then they call him and he like starts speaking. He goes, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "Okay, um, she tells me that I did this." And he goes, "Yes." And you're like, "What do you
He's like, what
mean,
do you mean?
yes?
Yes.
What are you talking about?" And it's like, "Yes, you in fact went there to kill." And he's just like, and then there's a great scene where he's like there at the doorway, and then they look behind him and they think like, is someone there? The door opens, and an amazing use of the shrieking foxes He's like, you're gonna hear the
Oh,
foxes yell on the island, and it
Mm.
sounds like a 14-year-old girl screaming, and there's just a few like you just hear the scream, and then you're just like, oh, it's just the foxes. You're like, what demonic place is this, dude? Freaking foxes yipping like that. It sounds like a 14-year-old girl screaming to death. Like it's terrifying. And
see,
what an awesome use of that.
It,
I wish they would have played into that. Him thinking it's a fox, but it's actually the girl screaming.
mm.
Sure. Sure. Well, it's funny that you say that, Grant, because like part of me was like, oh, were these missed opportunities? I almost give him kudos or I'll give him credit because there were several things that I thought were going to pay off and they didn't. And I'm almost okay with it, if that makes
Interesting, because
sense.
like, well,
Because I
there's
hear what
two
you're
other
saying. I
things.
thought the same thing. I literally thought, I'm like, oh, of course, he's going to think it's just a fox. That's the explanation. But in the end, it was someone being tortured all along and it was masked under, or someone was screaming all along, the girl or
Yeah.
something. I did think that too.
Well,
And then,
that
like you said,
and
with the
then
chain, I
the
thought for sure he'd be pulled, but
chain,
yeah.
and then the last thing I had thought of as well was like he says he can't swim. I wish there would have been a moment that forces him to like, okay, either swim or
Sink or swim, yeah.
like,
Oh, he
yeah,
sucks. It's just like, wow, I channeled my inner Michael Phelps. I'm
I
swimming.
can't
I'm
swim.
doing it. And then he gets shot in the back of the neck with a crossbow. Ah, dude, no, I
I
thought
feel
he'd
like
come
those
into
were
your
missed
boat or you'd find a
opportunities, but
door, a raft, float off. Like
I know, right?
I was hoping
Mm.
for that. But then I'm like, do I want this guy to survive? Man, he was willing to go do the job initially to kill. I also like for some reason, it made me laugh, the little detail of like, when the uncle comes back into the apartment after he's been drinking or whatever, he pays him his money. He's like sneaking up behind him and it shows him like barefoot, so like he's not making any sound. And you just see like some of his toes poking through his sock. Like I don't know why that's just a funny detail where he has like ratty old socks where he's just like approaching him and you can see his like a few of his toes through his socks. That just made me laugh.
Uh,
Um, Great
there was
details.
one other thing. I just wish there was a scene with him like trying to saw off the thing because it was leather at certain parts. Like I was just
What was he
Mm.
surprised.
sawing off with? The
No, I'm just
crossbow?
saying I to see him try to cut it off or something like because there was
With
moments I'm
what?
like
Did they
I
have
don't know.
any
Because
knives
the
in
only
there?
way he tried to get out was pull
Yeah,
the
the
chain at
chain.
the
And I'm
anchor
like, but
part.
the leather part of the I'm like, you could have found like a
Dude, leather is tough, man.
I know
Leather
it
is
is, but
tough.
find something to file
The
at it or
boots are
something.
made out of, man.
Hey, can you rip your boot in half, Grant? I don't think so.
Well, I mean, there was a
Dude,
kitchen, so
oh,
I'm sure there was like a
thank you
knife
for reminding me,
somewhere, you
Jordan. You
know?
reminded me. Another thing I really loved was the freaking sounds in this movie. The sound of the leather, the chain constantly
Him,
rattling behind him. Like
okay,
it's just like,
that and like him breathing, it's like constantly like, straining
yeah,
the
the leather
leather
just
so
keeps
that like,
expanding and contracting. It's
yeah.
just that, again, adding to that claustrophobia. I love it, Grant. It just sounds like
Mhm.
it's so painful to wear, even though, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, the chain and leather. Who knew that those two ASMR sounds in my head just like adds and fuel to this whole thing. And then there's the hollow sound of the drum. Great sounds
Well,
in this
there
horror.
was some inconsistencies though with the chain. Like it would be super loud, like dragging across the floor. And then when he was like trying to sneak up to the girl's room, like you could never hear the chain.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know. I thought that was interesting.
Interesting. That's fair. Yeah, see, those are good nitpicks. And in the end, I don't think there was too much sneaking around. I guess like, yeah, the only one would be like, so she knew who he was when she finally did meet him, but they don't meet until the uncle's already left. Because she comes out the first time and was like, it's just the foxes. That's the first time you introduce her. She has the crossbow, and you're like, oh my gosh, she's gonna shoot him. But then she starts talking to him. Maybe the uncle explained to her because she already knew that he was there trying to kill the father. So I guess I don't know why she was cool with it. Maybe she knew that he was there to then kill her. Was that his intention all along? Like I don't know, or maybe the uncle thought that the niece would kill him, right? Like what's his
Well,
plan, right? He's
I'm
like, I
trying to
need you to come
remember
look after
because
my niece, but he really was trying to
I
frame him.
think
So the cops were
I
closing
think
in. They didn't
she
buy the fact that
turns on the main character after the phone call when he says, "Take me off speaker."
yeah,
I
and then
think
he's
he
like,
tells
don't
her like
trust, yeah,
you need
wh-
to like kill
kill
him.
him. Yeah, you need to kill
Yeah.
him. Sure. So that's it's like, but again, it's like, yeah, you need to. It's like, why did you leave me alone with him, Uncle? Though, right? And then I guess maybe that's when
No,
she
yeah,
finally has
I
the
agree with that.
realization where he
Yeah.
finally comes down the stairs and he's like, "What's going on here?" And it's like, now does she? Now I'm seriously blanking at the end. Does she shoot him with a crossbow as well? He falls over. and then he's like back in that corner, and then the mom disappears. Or does he never get shot? I thought he gets shot. Does he get
I thought
Yeah,
it
shot?
was
he gets shot in the leg. He has to cut it off.
No. I'm not
no,
talking
he's talking
about
about the
not the
brother.
hired assassin. I'm talking about the uncle. Does the
No, I
uncle get
thought he just
shot?
got attacked by the mom.
No,
Yeah,
he
he's
he
fine. He
no,
doesn't
she
get it
shot
shot.
one. Remember, it gets stuck in his shoulder, and he like tries to pull it out, and he like starts bleeding. You don't remember that?
Yes, so it does. He
The
does.
uncle does get shot
Yeah,
with the
I thought
crossbow.
so. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She shoots him, right? I was just making sure that I didn't imagine that because I was like, I just saw this
I was like, I'm
yesterday and
seeing
today. Yeah,
things.
yeah, I know. Well, there's a few unreliable narrator parts, right, where he's dreaming it.
Oh
The
yeah, it's
part with
true.
the
Yeah.
painting, I watched that again. I finally understood it.
Mhm.
He it does change on him while he's awake, supposedly, but then when he wakes up, it like makes a bang sound, and then he pulls it up, and then he hears the voices, but then he wakes up, and the painting's where he left it. And it's like, okay, that was some weird, picture moving, whatnot, the girl
Okay,
changing
well,
faces.
what's interesting, like I had the idea that how the painting fell off the wall was like the mom inside the walls like pulls the nail away, and that's how the painting fell.
Mm.
That was my like theory, I guess.
I guess was it hanging on the wall though? I do like that idea, or she's even tapping through
Um,
the wall or whatever,
Yeah, she
trying
like
to
pushed the nail through.
um and then like so again, I'm gonna try to piece together one last time. The father is upset with the mother because she was crazy all the time. The uncle even comes up with this he tells the story about how the mom put him in the leather vest, would trap him in there, and then swallowed the key to tease him because I guess they were having a falling out. They didn't love each other anymore or something like that. So she swallows the key and she's like, ha ha ha, and the husband's like, oh my gosh. So he's like claustrophobic. She's playing on his fears, and she had a lot of problems. Probably explains why the daughter was so
No,
messed up.
she sleptwalked, and that's why they put her in the chains.
She would
no, they said
sleepwalk.
he said it was the grandma's when he was putting it on the main character, he said this was the grandma's sleepwalking vest.
And then
I
Just
don't I
the
just a
don't think it
regular
was the mom.
everyone needs to put gam in one of those every once in a while. Grandma, put on the vest, grandma. I don't want to put it on. Put it on.
well, and I was thinking too when he put it on, I'm like, how is he supposed to shower? I mean, I guess he can go the whole week with not showering, but then like, and
Is that the
how is he
kind
supposed to
of
sleep with that thing?
you could shower with all that leather?
And well, how is he supposed to sleep in that thing too? Like he just looks so uncomfortable.
He's got a metal
Yeah.
ring in his bag. Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Okay, that's another nitpick. This man's able to sleep in this house like way too much.
He's sleeping all over
He's
the
either like
house.
way too exhausted, just like maybe you couldn't sleep for like a day or like 2 days, I don't know.
No,
But
he
like,
is not phased by anything, Grant. I'm like, he must have been hit really hard on the head because he
yeah,
just
he
like
like he falls
he,
asleep like
he
because I'm trying to remember. Yeah, because he gets free and then he's like, well, I can't go anywhere, so I
He
might as well just
curls
go
up.
upstairs
He
and
curls up under a
take a nap.
jacket. He's freezing. Yeah.
Like
And he
what?
just takes a nap.
I feel like there's a million reasons
Oh.
I just been like, I don't know, because he
Well, he
just
can't go outside.
well,
It's an
exactly. But I'm
island.
saying
He's gonna
before
freeze to
even
death. Yeah.
that, like it's just the list. It's just like how many reasons would you not be in that situation? Like
Yeah.
Dude,
I would, like I
yeah.
said, that's why I would be
You didn't
finding
say anything about no
things.
island. You didn't say anything about no
I would be
freaking
finding
vest.
things in the kitchen to saw through that leather and get that off me, and I would be running out of there.
To
No,
where? To the seashore, Jordan? And then
I
what?
don't
You can't
know.
go anywhere. I know. I hear what you're saying, dude.
I
That's why I
break
think they
the
did a good
roof
job
off.
at explaining the fact that he was stuck there. He can't swim, so it's like he can't leave. And that was a
Yeah,
good way to contain the story here. Because you're like,
Yeah, that's true.
how do you convince not yeah,
yeah.
like who would?
Well,
Now again, even being willing to put the vest on, you're like, okay, would he be willing to do that? Maybe not, maybe. But it's like, how desperate was he? How much money was being offered? Ambiguous. But
how did he get the vest on the girl?
so he goes down to the basement, or no, does he come upstairs? He
He
either
gets
gets
the
the key
key
from the
from the
mom.
the dead mom.
Yeah, he gets the key from the dead mom, unhooks himself.
Uh-huh.
He comes,
The
what is
girl
he?
is like interstate or whatever, so
Yeah.
like
So he
he
puts it on
feels
her.
that.
He probably just took a
Okay.
hand off, she put the hand back
All right,
on.
put your hand back.
Pulls her hands away.
Just give me a second.
Pulls the hand. Oh, that would have been such an unnerving scene, like Oddity. He like pulls her hands away, and then she just goes, "Bah!" That would have
Or
freaked
just
me
like, yeah, one of her eyes is just staring at him.
Yeah, yeah. It
Yeah.
pulls the other way and her eyes are actually open and she's
Or
just
no, they're
watching him.
closed when he pulls it apart, looks down, camera pans back up, they're open, looking at him.
Oh my fetching gosh, dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. No, see, and it's funny that you say that because he clearly, like the oddity later with the freaking wooden creature and looking up at the girl in the balcony,
Yes.
that's the kind of shiz that he loves. He loves that
Yeah.
stuff. Where he's like, it's just a look. That's all you need. There's more
Mhm.
dread in just a stare, and I think he learned that from Hitchcock, dude. Freaking one of my favorite movies, Rear Window. It's just
Oh
looking through
yeah.
binoculars and getting a stare from a character. That there's
Yeah,
nothing
when the guy
scarier than
looks at
just
him.
making eye contact with somebody. It's so unnerving. Gives me goosebumps just talking about it. But like
Yeah.
eye contact
Yeah.
is such a great use in horror movies that's not used enough. Like there's just never like
Yeah, it's
there's
true.
the quiet moment where you make eye contact with someone and then there's that sudden realization where they both know and they're in
Yeah.
danger
Well,
in the
they
moment.
do a good job with that with the dead mom. Has her eyes
Yes.
wide
Yeah,
open,
never blinking.
staring
Yeah,
at you.
and then puts the beanie on eventually, and
Oh
then it's like
God,
through
yeah.
the pinky,
Uh,
the beanie. Oh my
Ah,
gosh.
stop. I can't even think about it right
I
now.
know, dude, it's great, right? That was awesome. See that I give kudos. I can't recall the last time. Yeah, it's like there's a dead body there. They always try to do the thing where it starts reanimating. That was even more subtle and better. It's just like like somehow she's looking through the thing and then it's like nearly clear from her face. You're like, is she tearing through it? What's going on here? It's
yeah.
great. And you don't need to know. It's just like, but like you can feel it because that is your worst fear where you put a beanie on some cadaver and then it starts to slowly like take off its freaking mask. It's so scary, dude. So yeah,
Yeah.
I
I
give
can't wait to
kudos.
see what he does next.
Yeah,
So
I'm 100% on board with Damian McCarthy. I want to see what his next film is. If it's another horror or sci-fi, you know, he tries to go outside of horror, but
well,
honestly, if he
if he
just
mixes
becomes the
genres again, like as long as he keeps horror in
yeah,
that
if he just keeps
mix.
doing the Jordan Peele thing where, you know, it's like his third movie is even his worst. I just like seeing work from him. I think like Jordan Peele kind of like I mentioned him just because he's done like three horror movies, if you will. And I don't know, does Jordan
Get
Peele like
out,
have any
and
plans?
then
Us and then Nope, which
no.
all have like a horror undertone or
Yeah.
thriller suspenseful. So if Damien keeps making horror movies, I'm fine with it as long as like again the writing and the scares are great. They bend genre and bend
And
my
we get one creepy
expectations.
puppet of some sort.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, whatever he makes, dude, it's freaking doll or freaking puppet or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
love it. Or just makes it about a lighthouse, you know, two innkeepers at a lighthouse, you know, like Robert Eggers. Or even Ari Aster. See, I was thinking of like, yeah, because he did Beau is Afraid, which wasn't necessarily a horror film, but even then, so like again, if David McCarthy goes on to make some other type of film, I'll still see it. But I don't know. I think he's got his craft down. I think he should just keep making horror movies. But anyway, so yeah. Anything else you guys want to throw about Caveat? Even the word caveat's funny just because like it's like, oh, you get to do a job. But the only caveat is you got to wear this freaking vest. I
And
think
it's on
that's
an
great.
island that you can't swim off of.
You can't swim off of. You can't escape. And there's foxes yipping and yowling at night. Freaking demented foxes, dude. It's so scary, dude.
And he
Anyway,
couldn't even reach the bathroom either, right? Oh my
I think
gosh.
Yeah,
you could
because he
reach the
tries to do that in the
bathroom.
very beginning, and
Remember, and he
couldn't
couldn't
reach it.
reach.
So he goes.
So he,
That's where he meets the dog,
and he goes to the front door to pee. I'm like, how do you go number
Oh,
and
two?
he's like, "Oh."
I have so many
And then he goes to
questions.
the kitchen, and there's like no freaking food, and you're like, "You're gonna
what's going on?
survive,
Yeah,
dude?"
I don't understand how they're gonna like. What's the
Yeah,
plan?
I would have been asking more questions. He's just like, all right.
Dude, I'm desperate for money. And again, I feel like, yeah, you could do that where you find out that he's just a drunk and has no money and he's a loner. He's got a scraggly beard. He's clearly not making the right decisions. And then
Yeah,
he's
but
acting like, oh, I have principles. And then you see him in the vest the next scene. I just think that's really funny. Like, it's a great cut. Well, and it's not it
Yeah.
directly, but it's literally like, there she is. She's paranoid, schizophrenic. And then, like, the next scene, he's just like, all right. And then you see him, like, putting the leather vest on. I just think it's so great. I'm like, yes, it's happening. So glad because I was like, he needs to get in that. I just wanted to see what would happen, and the movie did not disappoint. And like I said, I like you, Grant, feel like, oh, there were probably moments and opportunities, and I'm sure he even thought about doing some of them, but then like for the sake of the story, he's like, okay, we're already approaching like an hour and what was it, an hour and 28 minutes. I do feel like with 2 more minutes, one scene where he's being dragged, but and then it's like, who's dragging him, right? I was thinking maybe if before he had changed the daughter, yeah, something would have pulled him down to the basement or like
The
well, let's
mother
see.
or something.
Yeah, the mother, because like I actually thought, yeah, maybe this is how I would have done it. I liked the whole looking behind the corner. You could still have that scene. Let's see. So you know when she shoots him with the crossbow, then she reloads, gets the crossbow, and says, "Uncle, put this on," and so the uncle has to wear it. So now the uncle's in it. She goes
Mm.
upstairs. He's shot with a crossbow. He's got an arrow in his shoulder, but then he has to put the shoulder pad on or whatever. So he's avoiding the arrow wound. But then he's got the vest on. The mother still does the creepy thing, and he tries to run up the stairs, and then it's the chain that pulls him back down the stairs.
That would have
That
been
would have
Yeah,
been
good. Yeah.
that
that
would have
just
been
would have been
good.
the little 2 minute ad, like because we were all waiting for it. There was a great scene where something pulls on his chain. We don't know if it was the girl, the mother, some other force, right? It's the supernatural versus non-supernatural. I also like movies that do that because in the end it's revealed, just like Oddity, there's like it's all very not supernatural, and then it goes balls to the wall supernatural. And I
Yeah.
don't mind it because to me it's like I can buy the story that this is telling. Like with Oddity, it was like, yeah, it kind of makes sense. This weird girl has all these obsessions with like trinkets that are cursed, and it's like she does in fact have these supernatural powers and she can control this wooden puppet. Caveat, it's not exactly 100% clear. It's like the mother is clearly like the spirit of her is it's not rested, and that's why she's still interacting with the home, calling out to the bunny or whatever, right? Like she's not resting well with a crossbow in her freaking chest. Poor thing. She just wants to be laid to rest.
I wish they would have
Unfinished
done
business.
a misdirect of the intercom being like the girl's like, come upstairs quick, or like come to the basement quick, something like that. And then
Set a
like,
trap.
yeah.
Mm.
Sure. Either way, the intercom did come into play at the very end where she reveals to
Yeah.
him, like, he's not in the basement or he's not in the room. He's escaped. And he's
Mhm.
like, oh, what? And then that slow reveal of the mom peering behind the corner is great. So, yeah, like I said, that just the one scene where he's at the top of the stairs. No.
Yeah,
Just
yeah. Well, and there
shoot.
could have been, I
It's
feel
pulled
like
back.
they could have had like a couple more like um things go wrong with the chain, like him running up the stairs and it snags and it like
That
throws
was
him
the
Yeah.
thing
back.
I was thinking of from Your
Yeah.
Next. I thought we were gonna have that scene where he's running full book and then it just like gets stuck in a doorway or something. He just goes
And
like flying off his feet.
yeah.
Just like his gets yanked back and then like he's incapacitated or
Or
something like
because
that.
Grant mentioned it being too loud, like could have been a fun moment where you see him like holding up the chain, trying to keep it
Yeah.
off the ground, trying
Quietly
to
trying to,
quietly
and
sneak
it's like
around.
clinking around and he's like trying to keep
Yeah.
it still.
I just feel like
Yeah.
there could
Yeah.
have been a few more things they could have added
Sure.
in
Sure.
because with such a creative idea, I just feel like so much can happen with that. So,
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's weird. Some reason I'm like, these Irish people stuck on this island and like this crappy old house, like I totally buy that they owned a vest like that. And it's so creepy. And the perfect explanation, someone had sleepwalking issues. I'm like, somebody had a dangerous kink. Let's just put it that way. That is terrifying. I don't know what. There's no way that's just an innocent sleepwalking vest.
I
Was
know,
she
right?
tied up to the freaking radiator, dude, or freaking basement, like a giant pike driven into the freaking basement cement?
And it conveniently stops right before
The
the
girl's
daughters.
bedroom. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He's like, she needs to feel safe. And if I have you tied up to this, then she knows you can't get to her. Oh, so creepy.
Your word isn't enough.
I know your
We
word's not
have to
enough.
tie you up.
We have to tie her up. That's great. And then like, I mentioned it earlier, but like, yeah, that tiny little hole subverted my expectations where she's just standing there, like staring at his hand, and then he like grabs it and goes, oh, and it's just and his reaction is not, I thought he'd be screaming. And he like goes out and he's like, ha, 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 and then he just like when he finally bends it back in place. And then he gets shot in the leg and he's like, ah, ah, ah. Like no scream or yelp. He just got a crossbow into his freaking quadricep, or he's like,
I was thinking that. I was like, there's like no language in this like movie. It's like once or twice.
yeah,
Like,
it's
I
pretty.
feel like the
It's
dude
not
would have been
rated,
like,
but yeah, it's just.
he's just like,
well, he underacted for everything, dude. I would be screaming my head off.
yes. Like when the girl comes in, it's like, oh, that's the foxes. I'd be like, what the frick? Where'd you come from? He's just like, oh,
It's like, oh, I guess
okay,
it's just
dude,
you
you're
and me
not
now.
freaked out by that.
That's funny. I love it. Well, freak, dude. Well, would you guys recommend Caveat?
Uh,
Watch
Yeah.
this and then watch Oddity, which is better.
I
I'm
say,
trying.
but
I'd say
maybe
watch this movie
Oddity.
with a caveat of if you don't like bone snapping, don't watch it. If you don't
Maybe
like
Oddity.
dislocated joints,
I mean, if you're gonna do a double feature, sure, watch them both.
yeah,
Caveat
watch them
first.
both.
But if you're not, if you're like, I don't know if I want to watch them both. Watch Oddity first, and then I say caveat because I don't. I think they might not be interested enough to watch. I don't know because Oddity, like, I'm
You
like, I
think they'll
need to
be
see.
scared off by before they
Uh,
watch Oddity?
no, I'm just saying I loved Oddity so much. I was like, I need more. If you watch Caveat, you might be like, oh, I've seen enough. I don't know. I'm not saying it wasn't good. I liked it a lot,
Right.
but that middle, it just it was pretty slow.
Was he
But it
slow?
was he slow?
Was he
Slow?
slow? Yeah, dude. I don't know. I'm almost like willing to leave it in his hands because part of me was thinking I don't want him. I for some reason like I was worried that he might not like Caveat for some reason, so I was like watch Oddity because I'm like I think it's really hard to dislike Oddity for like all of its storytelling.
Mhm.
Caveat just feels a little unique in the fact that I wouldn't want him to watch Caveat and be like, yeah, I don't really like this.
Yeah, and be like, I don't want any more.
Right, because I
And
feel like
so,
they're so different. Because like you could watch Caveat and then watch Oddity and be like, oh, okay, this is more competent. This is more, better shot, bigger budget.
But if you're desensitized like me, then you
Yeah,
can
but
watch both
yeah, well,
and
again,
watch
desensitized.
Oddity second.
well,
Yeah,
it
I
goes
guess
with
maybe I'll just
like
ask. Yeah, I'll
it goes
ask
with
which one
like
he wants to watch.
Green Room and Blue Ruin. Like you
Yeah, it's like
mentioned Blue
which
Ruin
one did
earlier.
you watch first? Yeah,
Yeah, but it's like Green Room, I feel like is a more crowd pleasing thing. And
sure.
then Blue Ruin, I almost wonder if it's better, but it's like it's hard because it's like their first film. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, and it's so cool because I'm sure the directors they think about it too. Where they're like, yeah, there's this that all the things we brought up. He's like, oh yeah, we had all that storyboarded and then, but it's like budget, everything else, like we couldn't do it. So it's interesting, but yeah, great film. Watch it. Watch both Oddity and Caveat. So Damien, we're watching you, and we're gonna see what work you do. And what a great name, Damien. Isn't that like I mentioned this last on Oddity, didn't I? Freaking name of the Omen, the
Yeah.
Devil's Child, the Demon Child.
Wh-
Spawn of
Which
Satan.
so, speaking of Damien, there's another Damien Leon. His movie comes out next week, and I can't wait.
Damien,
Terrifier.
which one?
He uh Damien, he's making Terrifier 3.
Who's Damien? Oh, there's another Damien director that made the Terrifier movies.
Yeah, yeah.
Got it. Yeah,
It's
I don't know
his
how you
mom.
watch those movies.
But
Tried it.
his
They're
mom
very
did
unnerving.
like no, but it's funny because you made that joke, but his mom does like horror and she did name him after the movie The Omen.
Of course he was.
He was
Yeah, of course he was
obviously
inspired.
conjured to make horror movies.
Conjured. Conjured into
Actually,
He
being.
spawned.
Spawn.
I did
He was
actually
not
think of The
born.
Conjuring
Hell spawn.
a little bit from this movie. Just that
What was that?
freaky. I said I did think of The Conjuring watching this movie a little bit. Just
Sure.
that freaky chick on top of the dresser reminded me of this creepy dead mom.
Yeah. It's good. I like how effective just a few things are. Like I said, great visuals, great moments. So we end every movie podcast sharing movies that we've seen lately, movies that we're looking forward to seeing. Jordan, hit us up. What are you watching lately?
Well, I just mentioned next week I'll see Terrifier. And then I'm also looking forward to Smile. I'm just deciding if I should see it in the theater or wait till
Smile
it comes
2.
out. Yeah, Smile too. Because I really like the first one. So I'm debating if I want to see the second one in the theater or not. But uh that's about it. Excited.
Nice.
It's Halloween, guys. There's gonna be good
I know.
movies.
See, I'm gonna watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre because I'm almost certain I don't think I've ever seen them all the way through. I started the original one back in college and I didn't finish it. What's the one that you kept showing me where the cops go into the basement, Jordan? Was that the old 70s one? Or is that like a new remake? There's a scene where two
Oh,
cops go down with body cams and they're like,
that was the
oh,
remake.
oh, that was a remake. Okay. Because I
Yeah.
thought, and I was like, that looked way too new for 70s. Like
Yeah.
it's like 76. So, but I do want to see it because it's got like 86 on Rotten Tomatoes for both critics and audience. I'm
I
like, good
I
horror
love it,
movie.
but
Yeah, I do want to watch it because I feel like it's inspired so many things, right? I mean, Leatherface, the creepy family. I mean, like, I feel like Biohazard, Resident Evil 7 was literally all inspired from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I just like Toby Hooper's work. Like the Poltergeist is a classic. I just think he's really good in
He
horror.
did the Poltergeist?
Hmm
I thought that was Steven Spielberg.
No, he produced it.
Oh, so produced. Okay, so he did Poltergeist. Love Poltergeist. So he did that and Texas. Dude, why are we not talking about him, dude? We need to do his movies next. It's Halloween. We need to start doing Halloween movies all this time. So
Good luck convincing Cameron.
what would he not watch Texas Chainsaw? What a
I
baby.
don't know. He just
Just the
doesn't
title makes me grunge or cringe, I guess. Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
grunge.
Run.
Speaking of grunge, have you guys watched Rings of Power season 2?
I haven't seen the latest episode. We've been
Uh,
watching it.
did you watch episode 7? Because I think the
I
finale.
haven't seen the war yet. We've got right up to
Did you get to the end credits where they start playing that troll music? Man, it does like this metal music. It's so out of place. You're like, how did this get into a Lord of the Rings project? So funny. Are you sure
Hmm.
you didn't get? Tell me what was the last thing you saw? You said it was getting up to the war.
so the last thing was they like the Forge City is about to fall. The orcs just
Region.
yeah. And the orc army is at the gates, and then Sauron uh like deceived Celebrimbor
Yeah. To thinking
to think
everything
that
it's
everything
all
was fine.
rainbows and
Yeah.
butterflies. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's the last episode I saw.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you haven't seen, I think you're at episode 6 then. Pretty sure.
Maybe.
Because um you're in for a treat. Because episode 7
Like
is
laughing at it or it's good.
oh bad. I am
Mm.
amazed at how bad this project is. Like, bro, I'm gonna watch House of Dragon and Game of Thrones now because I need something to wash my palate from how bad this fantasy series was dropped. Like, it feels like
Mm.
a failed. Okay, I was about to say something really horrific, so I won't say that. It feels like a failed assassination attempt. We'll just call it that. That sounds just as bad. It's bad. It is horrific. Anyway, I'm just amazed at
Mm.
bad as my wife and I are just like flabbergasted at the end of every episode, being like, the creative choices they took, it's so weird. Like it's gone nuclear, I guess you could say. Like the show is gonna be past life support. I don't know how they save the series. Like there's nothing that's interesting about it. The characters are all flat, two-dimensional. I I'd be shocked if they get a third season or like again, they need to bring in new creators, new they just need to wipe it all away. I don't
I'd
know.
heard
It's
that
crazy.
Peter Jackson, original director,
Yeah.
did the original three.
Yeah.
I heard that he was doing his own series.
Dude, Andy Serkis. Well, I don't know if is he doing a series? I do know that Andy
I don't
Serkis
know.
is going to be directing a Smeagol movie, I think.
I don't-
Which makes me laugh because it makes me think like Lord of the Rings Gollum video game was the thing that was turned into a meme and it wasn't very good.
Yeah.
But I had no interest in playing the game because I actually enjoy Shadow of War, the freaking Lord of the Rings
Best game of
games.
all time.
Oh
Those
yes.
games are great. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, if they could do a story like that, I'd be all for it. Like a Lord of the Rings TV show like that. But instead they made it all about Guy Ladriel, who's just very uninspired, very uninteresting, and is the reason that Middle Earth is in such a crisis. She literally put Sauron in power.
Yeah.
Okay. But again, they keep trying to like make it like, oh, but see, now all the men in her life don't trust her because of her mistake. But then like more problems result of that. But I'm like, but it was her fault. Not to point fingers or to place blame, but like they keep trying to make Galadriel like, see, she was right all along. I'm like, yeah, but this is all your fault. Like, I don't care if it's like, well, now you know, it's like the boy who cried wolf, I guess, right? It's like, oh, this is a problem, this is a problem. And then it's like, oh, but now listen to me. It's like, it's your fault. We're in this mess. I'm just admit, watch Rings of Power if you dare and be like, tell me that it's good. I just don't. I don't find it interesting, Grant. Like you and Elise, are you guys enjoying yourselves?
Yeah. It's decent.
I just pray Ryan never watches it. Like I don't know how our parents were duped into thinking it's good. I'm like, are you so starved for fantasy that you think this is good? It's just not. I'm sorry. So I've ranted enough, but but I've been watching and it's just like so entertaining how bad it is. I'm just flabbergasted. Like it's like freaking watching Trolls 2. Neil Bog, Scotland spelled backwards.
Yo, Pog.
Anyway, we should watch another movie that's so bad that it's good. It's high time we have.
It's been a while.
Um, let's do what else? Oh, So real quick, what else did I watch? I watched Inside Out 2. Did I mention that to you guys?
No, I saw
I've
your
heard good things about
letterbox
it.
though.
It was good. I enjoyed it. I think they did a good job at just steering clear of like any modern day climate that we don't need to know about. Just like give us some escapism, give us a fun, innocent little story, and I think they did a good job. Do I think it's as good as the first one? No, but I did think that there was a lot of good moments and really clever stuff. It didn't give me like the feels as much as the first one, dude. Like I'm gonna spoil Inside Out 1 if you guys haven't seen it. But watching an imaginary pink elephant die and bring me to tears, like that's the kind of magic that Pixar had. This one had a good moment in it, but it's certainly not a tearjerker. And I was like, yeah, that was good. So, but like really, really good because it's kind of cool how to see how Riley is the main character who we see the insides in her working mind. It's kind of clever how you have like all these emotions happening as a result of getting older, and emotions get more complex. So do our beliefs and our core values. Very interesting stuff. So I do like how they built upon the world. It wasn't like the most like it's no Finding Dory, which is like an awful sequel. Finding Dory, just let her die off in the sea somewhere. Sorry, Ellen
Or
DeGeneres.
they should
You're a
cook
hero.
her and
You're
eat
beautiful.
her.
The sequel, Finding Dory, they find her in a shish kebab. Australians are like, let's put another shrimp on the bob, eh? And you find her on a grill. Oh man, that'd have been a great way.
Sushi.
That's no, she's just sushi now. Anyway, and then other than Rings of Power and then Inside Out 2, that's pretty much all I've seen. I was looking for, I try to remember, I think I sent you guys some of the trailers of movies I was looking forward to, and I did
Yeah,
that so
the
I'd remind
new
myself.
John Wick movie.
That's right. I will give Ana de Armas credit. I think it's kind of cool that she's branching out. Like maybe it's not because it kind of feels like what was her face? Blonde, Atomic Blonde. Um, why can't I think
Charlize
of it?
Theron.
Charlize Theron. Yeah, Charlize Theron. Um,
Theron.
they're on the balcony. I don't know what I'm saying. The action in that movie where it kind of feels like you're going out of your comfort zone. Like it's very easy for her to be like the love interest, to be just a beautiful face or whatever. But I think it's kind of cool that she's kind of doing a more stoic and action star. I don't know. I just think that's interesting. And then Keanu Reeves, even though he's showing up in the trailer, I'm sure he's only in the movie for like 4 or 5 minutes collecting a paycheck. That's fine with me. I love Keanu Reeves. And I love the idea that it's in that world. And I just kind of think it's cool that like there could be other great movies. And again, it's
Did
all
you
about
ever
the action,
watch
the
the
style.
Continental spinoff?
I haven't watched the show. I don't know if it got good reviews or anything. I would be interested to see it only if I knew like I almost feel like I just hope like once each episode they just have like a small hand-to-hand combat or just like because again it's all about it's to me it's just about the action and the stunts. I enjoy it because like to me it's like it's a very thin plot in the beginning to begin with, but but it's really well done and it's all about
Yeah.
the stunts and the appreciation for the stunts and Keanu Reeves is so cool and sleek. I just love that look. And so Anna de Armas coming
And
in,
perfectly gets headshots at every bullet, you know.
which is great because again, and it's not even like I'm like, oh, that wouldn't happen. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty aware if that would never happen. Slaps a horse and the horse kills a guy. That's another thing in Rings of Power. The horses are way too overpowered. They're killing orcs left and right. What's that about? I don't understand. It's weird. Watch Rings of Power. There are horses that are kicking orcs left and right. It's just ridiculous. Horses kicking things ever looks ridiculous. So anyway. Um, so yeah, other than that, what was the other one I texted you guys? And Cheap Cheap.
You Wolfman, I think.
Yeah, the new
Oh yeah.
Wolfman. I would be interested. I think it's the same guy that did The Invisible Man, right? He's now directing Wolfman. It looks different enough. Kind of had a vibe of Wolf of Snow Hollow, American Werewolf in London or whatever. But I don't know. I'd be interested to see it. I like how
Yeah.
there's like
Invisible Man was good.
Invisible Man was great. And yeah, if it's just a smaller contained story, I'm totally fine with it.
And I love Upgrade, so
The upgrade's good. So yeah, I'm all for it. I think that'll be fun. So those were some of the trailers I saw. Other than that, there's a bunch of other movies I definitely don't have a desire to see. But anyway, Grant, how about you? What movies are you looking forward to? What have you seen lately?
So, I pretty much only watch movies when Elise wants to watch a movie. She's been kind of like burnt out on movies lately. So we haven't watched a ton, but we've been watching Harry Potter 6 and part or 7, part 1 and 2. We just
How
finished
did
the
they hold
second
up?
one.
What's like 6, 7, and 8, I guess. How did those
I mean,
hold up?
I'm like a total like Harry Potter is so nostalgic for me that
Sure.
I can watch it for the rest of my life and love it. throughout every watch.
Yeah,
I
Ty,
have a hard
he
time with
Grant,
6. 6 is it's okay for
Grant
me.
even liked. He only gave Mission Impossible 2 2 stars, but he still liked it. He was like, it was good.
Well, no, okay, I liked it because it was.
John
Yeah,
Woo,
so that was the
dude.
other movie.
Yeah.
That was the other movie we watched. I was laughing the whole movie. It's so bad, dude. Like, I don't know. I honestly question how this series continued after this movie. Like, no, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I just feel like the action was so over the top, and like, but in the way that's like the director did not know how to like do action movies.
Have you seen Face
Like
Off,
the
Grant? No, no.
motorcycles like
Have you,
jumping at each other and they hit each other and then they go sideways. What?
Grant, have you seen Face Off? Have you seen John Woo's other work? Bro, we need to watch
His
Face
movies are
Off.
bananas,
Grant,
Grant.
we need to watch Face Off. It is
Really?
literally Nick Cage and John Travolta, and they get their faces swapped on one another. It is nuts. We need to watch it. It is so good. And what's so great, Grant, real quick. Nick Cage, the first day of shooting, he shows up and he's going ape shiz. He's going crazy. And John Travolta's like, oh, like if he's going that crazy, like I have to go that much crazier. So they're both trying to outdo each other. And it's Nick Cage and John Travolta just going for it. We need to watch Face Off. That might have to be next week's movie, dude. We have to get Cameron on for that one too.
Good luck
I thought
convincing
you
him to
already
do a
reviewed
Nick
that.
Cage movie.
Because I feel like you went like we did a Nick Cage because we
Well,
did
I
like
tried to do
I
the
don't
whole
think we
Mandy.
month,
did
and
Face
then a
Off,
couple
yeah.
movies in, Cameron and Ty are like,
Mm.
I know, I'm putting my foot down.
That's because Jordan didn't
That's
sell it. He didn't
funny.
sell it. John Woo, but it's just the fact that you're talking about an over-the-top action. The movie's ridiculous, but it's such a joy to watch. It is so funny.
Same. Yeah,
But
I'll have to watch
anyway,
that then. But
all
yeah,
right, man.
Mission Impossible 2, so like,
Bad.
it's interesting.
All right, dude. Grant, Jordan, we love you guys. Or well, I love you guys. I respect you. Let's leave an email, futuremovies@gmail.com. Leave us a comment. Tell us a movie that you'd like us to review. Maybe we'll get around to it. Or maybe not. Because we don't really value
We
your
don't ever
opinion,
check it.
listener. We don't ever check your email. Actually, I think yeah, you gave me the password. I need to go check that out. Everybody, this has been Future Hit Movie Gems signing out. We love you. Leave peace. Bye.
Bye.
This is a leash. It's not a uniform. It's not a uniform.